Okay, good morning and welcome. Welcome to Skybox 6. Not a bad view, right? Okay, so in this session we want to talk about what's new with Camry. And at this point in the Camry's life cycle, it's 3 years into after a redesign. What do we normally change in a car after 3 years? The lights, yeah, headlights and taillights, that's typically it. There's very few minor tweaks that we make, a few cosmetic tweaks to get it through to the next full redesign, usually 2 years later. But here it is, mid-cycle refresh, and we've changed almost 2,000 components to this 2015 Camry. So that's unheard of in the industry. In fact, most car companies are going to call this a complete redesign, but we're still calling it a mid-cycle refresh. A lot of the changes we've made to this car, though, they're evident, right? You can see on the outside, on the inside, but some of those aren't so evident. It's what's under the sheet metal that you can't see, but you really feel, especially when you're going to drive the car later this morning. So I want to show you a few of those changes we've made under the skin of this new Camry. So as you can see, it's a little bit more than just sheet metal. We did change all the sheet metal except for the roof panel, and we made a lot of changes in the interior, and we're going to cover all those this morning. But first, let's take a look at some of the grade strategy changes. First off, we've discontinued the L grade, so there is no more L. It's a small part of our business, so not a big loss. So your entry level into Camry will start with the LE, and by the way, power driver's seat is now standard across the board on all Camrys. It's a nice improvement. The new grade, though, is the XSE. You've seen a lot about the XSE. That's a lot of our promotional data and pictures are all of the XSE. Where do you think that XSE fits into the Camry lineup? Okay, in between what grades would you say it slides in? Okay, most people think it does slide in between the SE and the XLE. The fact is, it's exactly the same as the XLE in terms of equipment. So it's equal to the XLE. Previously, customers who wanted a sporty Camry, well, they chose the SE. But if they wanted all the features that Camry had to offer, they would have to get the XLE, right, and sacrifice that sporty look and drive. Exactly. So they don't have to sacrifice. Now, if they want all the luxury amenities, they can get the XLE. If they want luxury and sporty looks and handling, they can get the XSE. So that's where it slides in. It just gives customers the opportunity to have a sportier version of multiple grades. Yeah.
It's the same pricing too, right?
Yes, very similar. Yeah, there could be, when you get into the V6s, there could be a price difference, but yeah, the 4 cylinders, we didn't change the price at all on the LE and the SE. So the XSE is a new grade, so there's no price comparison, but it's pretty close to the same as the XLE. Yeah. Okay, hybrid lineup, we're going to continue with the SE grade. That will be a permanent fixture within that powertrain lineup. So customers who want 40 miles per gallon and a sporty look and ride, they can opt for the SE hybrid. So now let's take a look at the exterior. So like I said, it's all new sheet metal. Big focus on the front end. We wanted it to be bold. We wanted it to be sporty, to attract some attention. They've done a great job with that. They've even pushed the wheels out for a little wider stance. Not only looks a little bit better, but what else does it do for us? Better stability, better handling. Yeah. When you look at the side, bold new character line running down the side, and we have an all-new luggage area. So the rear of the vehicle is all new as well. Anybody have any guesses of what they think it looks like in the rear? What other cars? Okay, a lot of people say it looks like the ES Lexus. Yeah. That was the goal with this car, is to kind of push it more premium and upscale than we had been before. I think they did a great job with this exterior styling. When it comes to lights, there's quite a bit to talk about. First off, there's no longer an option or even an accessory for fog lights. So no Camrys come with fog lights any longer. For that reason, there's no more dummy covers in the cars that didn't have fog lamps, so you don't get those little plastic covers in the front bumper that cover up the holes. However, all Camrys will have those vertical light slits you see there in the corners of the front bumper. Those are your turn signals. So the turn signals will be located there, but if you get a vehicle that is an XSE or XLE grade, then it will have LED light strips there, and those are your daytime running lights. So that's an easy way to tell a premium grade, an XSE or an XLE. If it has those LED light strips, you know right away that it's one of the two premium models. We've also, for the first time in a Toyota, giving you not only LED high or low beams, we're going to give you LED high beam headlights. If you remember, Corolla's got the LED low beams. We still use halogen bulbs, though, for the high beam operation. Now, Camry V6s come standard with the LED low and high beam. The four-cylinder Camrys still maintain the halogen bulbs for their headlights. So another difference between powertrains. Four-cylinder halogen headlights, V6 get the LED headlights. Yeah, low and high beam on the V6s. XSE will have a smoked bezel around the headlights, so a little darker tint on the inside of the headlamp assembly. And you can see the differences between the grills on the models. So each model is kind of distinct and unique in its styling. Auto leveling will be a standard feature of the V6 grades, so those with the LED headlights will get the auto level feature. Based on how much weight you put in the back, it will automatically adjust the height of the headlights. And auto high beams, that's part of a new package we'll talk about in a little bit, a new advanced technology package. But that is an option on your XLE and XSE grades. If you had to change anything on the interior of the previous Camry, maybe feedback from your customers, what would you think they would want changed? A lot. Well, in fact, when we launched the 12 Camry, that was a big focus. It was the interior. We wanted to go more upscale. Nicer materials, soft touch materials, go away from the plastic dashes. We even, for the first time, gave you those stitches across the dashboard. So you say a lot. Just a couple things in general. What would you think we should change?
Well, a lot of the plastics around the gear shift, which has now been changed.
Okay. Yeah. So again, some of those plastics, maybe a little bit different. What else? Seats. A lot of feedback on the fabric, especially the LE grades. Yeah, the brown stripe in the back seat. I'm not a big fan.
Yeah, when you have to put yourself on the plugging, that's
Oh yeah, the USB port was way in the back of that storage bin. Yeah. So overall, the interior was nice, but there were some little tweaks that we could make to just make it that much better. And that's exactly what we did. First off, we wanted it to be a little bit quieter inside, so we've added a lot of sound deadening material under the carpet and also in the door panels. When you open the trunk later during the competitive crawl, make sure that you take a look at the trunk hinges. Now they're covered with trim pieces, and that's typical in a luxury segment, not typical in a non-luxury mid-size class. So take a look at that. Again, a little bit more upscale look and feel. Customers were asking for darker interiors in the cars, especially on the cloth interior. So now we will offer black as an option in every single Camry grade. So even cloth in the LE and the leather in the XLE, you can get black now. Yeah, big improvement, right? Now the sport grades have always had black, but now we will offer a high contrast interior for somebody that wants a lighter version of the sport interior. The center stack, that is all new. And a lot of the changes were because customers wanted the center stack buttons and knobs to be larger. They wanted them to be a little more intuitive or easy to operate. So we did make those changes, and we've also moved the clock down into the touchscreen, like some of our newer vehicles also. And if you get navigation, you will also have the clock updated via GPS, so you don't have to set the time. Nice, right?
Like the phone.
Like the phone, right. But the center console, we changed also the stitching and the materials around the gear shifter, so a little less plastic in there, but we've also tried to clean up these blanks, right? So if you didn't get a certain feature, there might be just a cover for where that switch would have been located. And what we tried to do was clean that up and not remind people that you didn't get all the options that you could have when you bought the car. So now, if you get heated seats, let's say, you'll have those switches right in front of the armrest. If you get a vehicle with cloth and no heated seats, then that will be a different storage bin and it won't have the locations for those switches. So again, it's not going to remind you that, oh, you didn't get the heated seats. And it cleans up the interior a little bit. Makes it look, again, more premium. And there is one of the big improvements in terms of connectivity. If you want to connect your USB port or use your PowerPoint, it was very difficult in the previous gen Camry because those were located in the back of that storage box. You couldn't see them, right? You just had to feel for them. Now they're right up front where they're easy to access. And nice change, right? And for the first time in a mid-size sedan, we will offer wireless charging capability. Now this is an option, a factory option only on the XSE and XLE grades, $75. It does require your cell phone to have a certain type of technology in order to work. No, not that one. There's a different one. Anybody know what it's called? It's called Qi, spelled QI. And this is a technology that some of the newer Droids have, not all, but iPhone does not have it. But you'll say, well, that's an iPhone. Yeah. There is a case that you can buy for most phones, iPhone included, for about 30 bucks. You put the case on, and that allows your phone then to be wirelessly charged. Okay, so regardless of the phone you have, if it's a newer smartphone, you're probably going to have the opportunity to utilize this type of technology.
What kind of dealers have it available with parts?
You could, yeah. There's no reason why the parts department couldn't
They
have.
have to go and buy it. Where do I find it? I don't really know.
Just be careful. There's a lot of different phones out there.
No, I understand.
iPhone, a little different, you could have 2 or 3 different ones and you'd be covered. But the Droid phones, there are hundreds. So you're right, though, you could have some of these cases available in your parts department, and it wouldn't be a bad idea. No.
Even the iPhone 6 doesn't have it.
Not to my knowledge. So performance-wise, we didn't change the powertrains. We didn't need to, but what we did change is the way the vehicle handles. Big focus was on the LE. We wanted to improve the handling and maybe the driver engagement of this vehicle, but we didn't want to sacrifice ride quality. And that's something that some of the competitors do. They just make the suspension stiffer, and they say it's a sporty ride. Well, it means it's harsh and it's rough. And that's something we didn't want to do. We still wanted to increase handling, but we wanted to maintain good ride quality as well. We started out with increasing the width of the rims. So you get a wider wheel, wider tire, more contact patch with the road, better traction. Then we added 22 spot welds to the body. What that does is stiffen up the structure so that we could then retune the suspension, which we did. Front suspension, we've got new shock and spring rates, as well as with the rear. It's a new dual link independent rear suspension. We also have all new tuning for the electronic power steering. And the power steering is tuned differently for each grade of Camry. So as you rotate through the cars on the drive today, see if you can tell the difference between the SE, the XSE, the XLE, because there is a definite difference between the way the steering, the feedback, and how much effort is required when you're turning. Technology-wise, you guys just came from the Intune crawl around, right? Yeah. So you've already got to see our latest head units with the Intune and the Intune Audio Plus and the Premium Audio. We've got all new JBL sound system tuning if a customer gets the JBL sound system. And for the first time, we're going to offer our customers position indicated tire pressure monitoring. So we won't just tell you how much air is in the tires. We've done that already, but we're going to tell you where that tire is located on the vehicle. Yeah, nice feature, right? Finally. We also have that information in the new 4.2-inch multi-information display. So this screen is standard on SE grades and up, but you can get it on the LE if you get the Intune Audio Plus head unit. It's packaged together. So what does Intune Audio Plus give you over the Intune Audio head unit? 2 things. Nobody knows? XM radio and HD radio with traffic and weather. So if you upgrade to that, you'll get this 4.2-inch screen. A lot of information in this screen, not just vehicle info. You can also have things, if you have nav, it'll give turn directions. It'll have your phone book contacts. You can scroll through preset radio stations. So it's pretty robust in the amount of information that you can.
Same as the Highlander and the Plus.
Exactly. It is very similar to the Highlander. Yeah. Now safety. Safety is important to everyone. So we now are going to offer our customers on the XSE and XLE grades, they will get the ability to get an advanced driver assist package. And that's going to include the pre-collision, the lane departure alert, the active cruise control, and auto high beams. Brakes, those are retuned. A lot of our customers felt they weren't very predictable, meaning they would have to adjust the amount of pressure that they apply on the brake pedal as they would come to a stop. So we've retuned those brakes to be very linear and more predictable for those consumers. So when you're on the drive, see if you can tell the difference between the 14.5 and the 15. Side curtain airbags were increased by about 30% on Camry to provide better protection for the occupants, and we increased the inflation time of those airbags from 1 second to 6 seconds. And lastly, the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety has now issued Camry a top safety pick plus rating for the 15 model year, so we did very well in that small overlap test. It was a bit challenging initially. So we get the top safety pick plus rating, good news for us and our customers.
Excuse me, go back to the curtain airbags.
Yes.
From 1 second to 6 seconds?
Yes, yeah, and that's for a situation where you have multiple rollover, so it's going to stay inflated longer to protect the
Oh, it's
occupants.
going to stay inflated for 6
Yeah.
seconds? Oh,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
that took 6 seconds.
No,
No, that's not.
that would be a problem. Yeah. Any other questions?